Now return Cecilia Dapaah's property to her within 7 days. We cannot confirm the freezing of her account. These are the orders of the Financial and Economic Court Division of an Accra High Court to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. According to the court, the OSP's act to seize the property in the matrimonial home of Ms. Dapaah and freeze her accounts was based on mere speculation and reaction to public sentiments and without legal basis. Richard Kojonyako was in court and joins us with details. Richard, give us details of the rulings of the court.
Well, so the OSP was in court virtually, and then Madam Cecilia Dapaah and her lawyers were also in court virtually. So the OSP case to the court was that it had conducted a search in Madam Cecilia Dapaah's matrimonial home and discovered an amount of $590,000 and 2.7 million Ghana cedis. The OSP suspected that the property was tainted property, and based on that, went ahead to freeze the said property. The OSP also found an undisclosed amount of transactions in the two accounts of the former minister. The accounts were today named Societe Generale and Prudential Bank. The OSP said it suspected that the property in the accounts was tainted, and as they were investigating her for corruption and corruption-related acts, they went ahead to freeze it. The OSP made the point that the fact remains that the sources of the money remain doubtful, and thus went ahead to issue its freezing order. And so, per the act that established the OSP, when an asset has been seized and frozen by the OSP, the Office of the Special Prosecutor needs to confirm at the High Court within a period of 7 days. Now, the case of Madam Cecilia Dapaah. So, Madam Cecilia Dapaah opposed the application. There was a contention that the OSP had breached its own law by not confirming such a seizure and freezing of her account within the mandatory 7 days set by its own enabling legislation. And if the court goes ahead to confirm and endorse the act of the OSP, it may be giving its blessing to illegality, and that will mean the court will be condoning lawlessness. She said the conditions precedent for the OSP to seize and freeze her account were not met before the OSP acted, and that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has failed to properly invoke the jurisdiction of the court. So to Madam Cecilia Dapaah, the property she had acquired were acquired long before she came into public office, and she's not engaged in any corruption or corruption-related activities. Now let's look at what the court based on to give its ruling. So it set down 4 main issues for determination in its ruling. The first was the capacity of the one who authorized the affidavit, and was established that it was not the OSP himself who authorized it, but it was done by someone who was authorized to do so. And so the presumption of regularity had been satisfied, and that the objection raised by Madam Cecilia Dapaah on the capacity was held to be far-fetched and without any legal justification. The second issue the court looked at was whether the condition precedent for the seizure of the property was met. The court said the OSP acted in excess of jurisdiction. The OSP failed to confirm the seizure within 7 days, and the court cannot purport to do something illegal. So the court said they were mandated by the law to uphold the law and not condone duty. And secondly, the OSP did not meet the conditions set out in its own act that gives him the power to seize the property, and that the OSP, the property the OSP has described variously as tainted property. The court said the former minister had demonstrated that she was not concealing any property because the property the OSP found in her home could have been concealed during the subsistence of the criminal case, but the respondent did not do so, and that the OSP failed to justify any reasonable suspicion of the property being tainted. To the court, what the OSP has done is to interfere with the enjoyment of the property of Madam Cecilia Dapaah, and that's in breach of the 1992 Constitution. And on the final issue, the court set down the freezing of the property of the former minister while an ongoing investigation, which outcome is yet to be known, is not rooted in law. That's according to the court. And that the OSP acted on mere speculation, was reactionary to public sentiment, and acted without any legal authority. The court thus ordered the OSP to unfreeze the account of Madam Cecilia Dapaah and return the property she discovered in her matrimonial home to her within the period of 7 days. And Mamuzi, it's interesting that this court was held virtually, and I could see Madam Cecilia Dapaah and her lawyers all joining in, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor, the lawyers, they are also joining in to listen to the ruling.
But were there any reactions from Madam Cecilia Dapaah and her lawyers?
Well, so because it was a virtual one, you could see Madam Cecilia Dapaah, but you could not see clearly whether she was smiling or she was frowning or she was behaving in any other way. Either can you also see the OSP also acting maybe smiling or disappointed in the decision by the High Court. And so because it was done virtually, you could not really clearly see that in fact one was smiling or one was disappointed in the judge on the ruling of the court.
Grateful for your time here, Richard Kojonyako, our court correspondent.